Most change doesn't begin with a plan, but with discomfort. It starts in that moment that you realize something's wrong and you can't ignore it anymore. I'm Saskia Falcon. Welcome to The Odds in Our Favour, a News 24 Good News podcast, brought to you by Old Mutual Wealth, helping you grow, protect and preserve what matters. And today I'm talking to Siv Ngesi about how they are helping ensure that a natural biological function, menstruation, does not continue to keep millions of South African schoolgirls out of school every month. Siv, thank you so much for being here and for sharing the story of the Menstruation Foundation with us.
Thank you very much for having me. I've always loved your work. I've loved your passion. I've loved bumping into you when I see you anywhere. So when you gave me the call, it was a pleasure and a privilege to be here.
I'm super pleased and I'm very, very excited about the work that you guys are doing. Many South Africans will know Siv Ngesi as an actor, as a comedian, even a drag performer, but someone who really is constantly pushing boundaries in public life. But for millions of South African schoolgirls, your name is actually linked to something far more fundamental, and that is dignity, access, and the ability to attend school consistently. And right now, more than 7 million girls in this country still miss up to 5 days of school every single month. And this is not because they're ill, but because they just don't have access to sanitary products. Today, I want to talk about how the Menstruation Foundation is changing that. But if we can go back to before the Menstruation Foundation began, what first made you aware of this issue or this crisis in South Africa?
So about, I think, 10 years ago, I was doing a travel show around the world called Winging It. Standing outside the American Embassy. I believe that if you're on time, you're late. So technically today I was on time, meaning I was late for the podcast. And I arrived about 20 minutes before, standing in line. And I saw this beautiful colored woman sleeping on the side of the road. And because she was beautiful and she looked good, it makes her more of a human. It's a weird bias that we have, but she was on the street. So she wasn't just a beggar or a homeless person. She became a person because you could see she just arrived. So I walked up to her and I said to her, hey, how did you get here? She was just telling me her story, and then I had 200 Rand in my pocket and I gave her 200 Rand. And then I was in the line. And then I went to Facebook and I said, what do women do during that time of the month? And obviously then, and then it went viral. A few weeks later, it was my birthday. Then I did a pad drive at Fire and Ice. And that's when I learned about period poverty. Sia Kolisi came, Wade Faniga came, Helen Ziller came. It became a huge thing. And then it became my biggest mission to end period poverty. And because of my masculine ego, I thought women were fighting this wrong, that I must do it and I can fix it. It wasn't as easy as I thought it would be, but I am the biggest in the African continent, and I'm doing the most work, and I'm not happy until I reach my goal, and that is to end period poverty. And it's actually very simple to do so.
Do you remember the moment when you actually realized you weren't actually going to look away anymore, that this was something that you wanted to try to actually do something about?
I knew we were out. So people call me all the time to hand out sanitary pads. And once there was a sporting day, and this little 5-6-year-old kid, I was in the Takukuleta where I grew up, and he pulled my shirt and he was like, can I please get one of those for my mom's bum? Then you thought, okay. So he knows it goes somewhere down there. He doesn't know what it does, but he knows that his mom needs it. And then I was like, there it is.
Sure.
That's all I need. That's all I need. And then it became my life mission to end it. Giving back needs to be rebranded because I think people think giving back is just such a selfless act that it mustn't feel good. I love how it feels. I love how it makes me feel. I love how it makes people look at me. I can tell you, my friend, I get stopped. I've done blockbusters. I've done huge things work-wise. I can tell you, I never get stopped by anyone for stuff they watch of me on TV. Ever. No one goes, no, bruh. No. Everyone watch. Men come to me and go, era bra, man, like, bra, I love what you do for women.
Sure.
Like, it means the world to me.
Sure.
Like, I get stopped for that. Now they recognize me from TV. They know who I am from TV, but the first thing they're going to say, I loved you in Woman King. Nah, bruh. Kosa men are like, they're pets. They turn that your mom, they turn and nam man. Like, that's what I get stopped for. Women stop me for that. So for me, I do good because I want to, and I do good because it makes me feel good. There's a Japanese saying that I live by. You don't respect others for them. You respect others for yourself. So you start off by going, I will treat you well, not because of you, chums, or you. I'll treat you well because that's my thing. And the repercussions is that you get treated well. So for me, I love giving back. I love the way it makes me feel. Money doesn't inspire me at all. I'm not inspired by money. And then the next comment will make me, you look at what? I'm inspired by power. I want power. With power, you can make change. With power, you can make money. But power for me, if I say, I just open up a burger joint now. And if I go, I've opened up a burger joint, go eat. And people go eat there. That's what I like. The money that comes from it, that's not my business. I just want people to follow when I say go. And when there's a rugby team the other day from the township. The rugby boys team is doing a fundraiser for the rugby girls team for pads.
Love.
The job is done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And for me, that's power of influence.
Yeah.
That's what I'm inspired by, is power of influence. Money for me, I'll always have money. I'll always have more money than I'll ever need. So, God, whatever, bless it. I will always have money. Money is always attracted to me. And there's two things that love me. Two things that love me continuously and undoubtedly. Money loves me and children love me. And children for me are my everything. And the way they treat me tells me that I will always have money because they see things that others don't see. So those are my two things. And for both of them, I don't have to do anything to receive them. But the love that means the most to me is how children see me.
I want to go back to a man doing the work or choosing to do the work that you're doing. You're doing this work with your foundation partner, Marius Poisson.
Without Marius Poisson, there would be no Menstruation Foundation because for me, I bring the money and he spends it. And he works like a mule. And you know those Afrikaners when it comes to admin.
On point.
I just don't have it. But Marius Poisson, always, you cannot mention me without mentioning Marius.
So I wanted to ask you, so the work asks you guys as men to enter a space that young men and boys are taught to avoid. You know, traditionally this is women's business. But what you've just shared with us is a different lived experience.
No. I think the patriarchal system is, people push that the patriarchal system is only oppressed women. It's a deep, deep, deep misconception. Deep nonsense misconception. The patriarchal system has been abusing and oppressing men for hundreds of years. If I was raised in a household without strong women in my household, what kind of version of a man would I be? With the system that tells you you're superior, the system that tells you that you're better, that you're stronger, that you're faster, that they are below you. That system has been oppressing me. Here's the simplicity of it. Don't think condom versus pad. You must think toilet paper versus pad. Now you mean why? First of all, sex is an option, right? 2, condoms protect 2 people, not 1, right? So it's not a man thing, it's not a woman thing, it's a dual thing. And 3, I can say no to sex, or I can have unprotected sex. Do you know what I mean? There's options.
Right.
Now, toilet paper. If I go to the toilet right here, public toilet, there'll be toilet paper. And if there isn't, I can go ask for it, right? Now, it helps a natural process that will happen with or without your consent or control continuously. Now, for me, when I talk to men and boys, that's the example I make. Then their brains go, toilet paper versus pads.
Right.
And that's the best analogy, not condoms. Because condoms for me, people always say condoms, but condoms, it's actually more, condoms help 2 people, they stop STD. Try go to the toilet and go pee and all these things without toilet paper. And then you see how life will be difficult. And that's how you get to simplify it. I was raised in a household where pads were there, man. Pads were there, tampons were there. I don't think I'm any special, man. First of all, that's what I think. Another thing that makes people make me palatable is by making me different. I'm not different.
Right.
Don't make Siv the different guy. I'm not the different guy. I'm just the loud guy who has a platform. But everyday men who raised around women saw pads growing up. They saw them. They were there. You know what I mean? They were there. It's just I have a voice. But I don't think I'm an anomaly. I don't think I am.
What do you think for you and Marius, though, to choose to engage with period poverty as an issue, as your mission, as opposed to seeing it as somebody else's problem, particularly because you're men? Is there something...
No, so Marius, this is how it happened. So Marius and I were trying to start a charity because someone involved in government was like, we have a lot of charitable money that we can thingy. Now, charitable, for me, I don't believe charity should be just people giving. People should get paid incomes. People should. So it is a job, right? Maurice does it full time. He gets a full time salary. We hire about 30 odd people across the country. So we had this, it was a business, but charitable. And then I said to Marius, I'm only willing to work in period poverty. If not, then I'm not involved.
Okay.
Right. And then COVID hit, then women were struggling. Right. And I said to Marius, pick up my phone to Marius, I said, let me do one post and you see what we can do. I did one post and money flew in. And then Marius was like, okay, cool, there's a problem. Then I started explaining to Marius what the problem is. And then Marius was like, wow, I have a daughter. And then it just switched.
I'm so glad you said that now, because it's a beautiful segue. So before the foundation was launched, I want you to articulate for us what you saw as the problem. What was the problem? How widespread was it? And what was it affecting that you had to say this needs to change?
So first of all, I was doing work before the thing, 5 years before. I'd always been involved in the space. So if you're listening to this, it's pretty simple. 22 million women bleed every single month. 22 million women bleed. 7 or 8 million, right, of those can't afford sanitary pads, right? 4 of those 8 to 7 million go to high schools and universities. Now, if you're a woman and you're listening to this, you know those first few days, it's happening down there. It's happening. Sometimes the second day is worse than the first.
100.
Right? Little nuances that I've learned along the way. And for those 2 or 3 days, depending on your flow, a toilet paper, a tissue, it's not going to cut it. If you don't have the good quality kind of stuff. So they're missing school. And then what I realized of the injustice, it's not just about missing school. So you missing school means you're missing a few days of school. But then in townships, a lot of young women are walking around in their 90s, walking around, going to buy bread, whatever, because they can't go to school. And it's actually involved in the sex trafficking trade. So they see young girls walking around home. They're like, oh, if I come back in 28 days, she'll still be home. Or we grab her now, right? It's involved. And it's involved in rape as well. So the guys are home. So South Africa's a vicious cycle because we have 60 odd percent unemployment, right? So a lot of men are at home, right? And they're at home and they're interacting with young girls in ways that they were never. So I'm not making an excuse
had the opportunity for before.
It wasn't. They were at work, right? They were at work. They were doing things. So now they're interacting, kind of a thing, and that's how these things happen: rape, adult relationships between young men, and kind of thing. So it's all a vicious cycle. But another thing that I always want to call people out on is when a young girl gets raped, people are like, "Oh, it's ridiculous! How can you do this?" I said, "But she wasn't worth a packet of pads. Look at her worth." She wasn't even worth a free packet of pads just now. And how it's all linked. It's all linked. They don't value women issues. They don't. And if you think about it, if men bled once a month, sanitary pads would be free. If I bled once a month, if I had blood running out of my penis every single month, it would be free. And it would be socially acceptable to talk about, and it would be readily available. I'll be able to get them in a vending machine. So we distribute 1.6 million sanitary pads every single month to Southern Africa. We've used we've patented it actually. It's a vending machine, the dispensing machine, and it distributes. Girls get a coin, pull back. If you have a higher flow, then you can actually get more. So at the moment, we do 1.6 million sanitary pads to out Southern Africa, and now because I was sick and tired of the quality of pads, I opened up my own sanitary pad factory. So,
which countries?
Wealth is about more than just numbers. It's about what you're shaping, your ambitions, your priorities, your legacy. That's why Old Mutual Wealth partners with skilled financial planners to bring the expertise of a leading wealth manager to your strategy. They help you make sense of both local and global opportunities, offering clear strategic insight so you can make confident decisions, whether you're building your wealth, protecting it, or shaping your financial future. Take your wealth further.
So at the moment, we do 1.6 million sanitary pads throughout Southern Africa. And now, because I was sick and tired of the quality of pads, I opened up my own sanitary pad factory. So
Which countries?
So we're in South Africa. We're in Lesotho,
Sure.
Botswana, and Swatini at the moment. And then we have factories. And my mission, we have a sanitary pad factory. We're making between 450 to 650 sanitary pads per minute. We can make up to 500,000 sanitary pads every single day. So 22 million we bleed every single month, meaning that 14 million women can afford sanitary pads. If you, as a woman who bleeds every single month, were to buy half a pack from me or a quarter of a pack, we end period poverty. My charity, for 10 pads, it will cost you 5 Rand for 10 pads. If you were able to give me 2 Rand every single month, which is 2 times, if you were able to give me 24 Rand a month, I could end period poverty.
This is every single
woman who does bleed
way to give you.
and can afford it could give you 2 Rand.
Yeah.
And if you scrap those and you challenge men, we can end period poverty like that.
Not just in South Africa?
I'm working South African numbers.
Okay.
It's the same as world hunger. Come on, guys. World hunger. If every leftover was given to the right people, there'd be no world hunger.
I want to ask you about the 195 schools around the country, that you guys are supplying. So this is the installing the sanitary towel dispensers into those schools, right? What does that represent in terms of the need?
So I have no ambition to hand a packet of pads to a girl in her hand. I've never done it. I never want to do it. If I'm hungry, I don't want someone handing me a sandwich. I'd like to know how I can get it myself, or a fishing rod so I can continuously be able to get it. I think the machine makes it dignified. I did a school a few weeks ago, and they wanted me to put the machine in front of an open place. And Morris was like,
No.
Morris saw where it was put up, and I was quiet. So the reason why we came up with the machine, we wanted a dignified, uncorruptible system. Because this is a space where corruption is predominantly women doing it. So how it happened is that when Morris and I started, I used to get hundreds and thousands of pads, give them to schools, and a couple of weeks later, I'll come back and the young girl will be like, "Thank you so much for the affordable pads. They were cheaper than usual." I said, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Oh, the teachers sold them back to us." So this space I am one of the only men in this space.
Wow.
And I'm very highly hated by many because I don't need money, which makes it a bit of a thingy. So I pushed for it to be non-corruptible, but the space is very corruptible. And to the big sanitary pad companies out there, I know you dislike me, and I know you don't like me doing what I'm doing, and I know many of you are sending inspectors to my factory, and that's why we've gotten international accredited safeties and cleanliness. So complain and say what you want about us. And to all the big sanitary pad companies, I know you're blocking people who've worked with me from working with you. I know the name is out there. So I see what you guys are doing. And if everyone loves you, you'll be doing nothing with your life. And dogs only bark at moving cars, never parked ones. So to the entire sanitary pad space, we will not stop until we end period poverty. And we know you don't want to end period poverty. You just want people to continuously have a need. The rant I just said now is I have friends who have been involved, who've been working with us in the sanitary pad space to try and end period poverty, who are not getting jobs from other sanitary pad companies because they worked with me.
Right.
I have it in writing. So they don't want to end period poverty. They don't. They just want the continuous need to be needed. They're like drug dealers. They give you the one hit for free and they'll continue. So sanitary pad companies have always given us free pads. they haven't wanted us to do a factory because they know that how cheap it is to make sanitary pads.
Right. Does it cost the girls anything to get access?
Not a cent. If my branding is on it and someone charges you anything, please contact me in my DMs. Every single young lady who gets pads from me, it's free of charge. Corporates pay for it. And we distribute it. If there's any, I will put my heart on the line and my life on the line, my mother's life on the line to be able to tell you that every single girl gets free sanitary pads. And if there's any corruption in the system, I will leave the sanitary pad space if there's ever any corruption involved in my charity.
You guys sound like you've really making gains, and it's been very well received by women and girls. Was it always the case, or initially was the response?
So it's same as when I started doing drag. I got a lot of pushback from the queer community.
Yeah.
From not all, but some. Until they know you're in it.
You're an ally.
And you're an ally.
Yeah.
I think women as well. I think a lot of women have had men jump on board and say, I'm here to help. And then they end up being the guys who take them for granted. So even in the female spaces, the queer spaces that I'm involved in, people just want to see consistency. When we arrived with a name, Menstruation Foundation, people pushed back because pushback saying it's a woman thing. And then they were like, no, but why is a man doing it? It's a woman thing. I said, no, wait a minute. It's not a woman thing. Menstruation is not a woman thing. Menstruation is a humanity thing. For me, there would be no humanity without menstruation. And for me, men must get involved. So in the beginning, there was pushback. But you know me, I've never stopped because someone's pushing on me.
In fact, you go harder.
I keep going harder. In 2026, illiteracy will not take people down. What will take people down is the ability not to learn and to unlearn.
Yeah. So this was my next question, actually. What did you have to unlearn to do this work?
So Morris and I are both we played rugby, Morris and I. So we always played rugby. And in rugby, you just go harder. You get up, you go harder, you get up and you go harder. What we had to unlearn is we had to drop our male ego, a bit of it, not all of it, because ego keeps Morris and I inspired to do more. We had to get a lot of women involved in our space. So our board is full of women. Our marketing team is full of women. But what I've had to learn and unlearn is that they've showed you that male CEOs compared to female CEOs, male CEOs can make a lot more money in a shorter space of time, but they can destroy a company as well. Female CEOs will make more money on the long run, but they're a lot more conservative and risk averse, right? Men are a lot more pro averse. What's the answer? Not to have a male CEO, to make them work together. Male and female CEO working together, kind of a thing. What we have learned is that this thing can't just be a man thing. We need women to involve us, to call us out, kind of a thing. And now we've got it working perfectly. That's what I've unlearned.
I just want to come back to the factory, because we didn't actually get a chance to talk about the sanitary towel factory, which actually only opened in 2025, but already seeing great success. And it's the Agoji pad. You've actually named the pad. Most people wouldn't name a pad. And so I want you to talk a little bit about that, but I also want you to talk about one of the core values, which is you've spoken a lot about restoring dignity. Opening up a factory creates jobs. So now we're creating employment as well. And this is, again, coming back to a core value, that's dignity. So just talk to us a little bit about this Agoji pad and, the mission. Yeah.
Agoji pad is named after an all-woman army in West Africa hundreds of years ago. I was in a movie called Woman King with Viola Davis, and we were talking about that particular. So we named it that. We named it after that incredible army. You will never be able to buy an Agoji pad. You'll never be able to get it in store. My vision was always to get it in store.
That is such a clear vision. That is so clear.
Yeah, so it used to be that. And that my vision used to be I wanted to see my pad on the shelf of every single supermarket. That's what I wanted.
In the beginning. Yeah.
And over the last month or 3 months, I realized that no, I want my sanitary pad to be the choice condom. I want it to be affordable. When I say affordable, I mean it needs to be free. So we're a white label to companies. So we'll white label the companies.
Right.
They'll be able to market it as what they want. But the Agoji pad will never be for sale under the Agoji pad, ever. And if you ever see it,
It's a problem.
the name is
Let us
patented. Please let us know. The mission and goal is to be able to produce. We went to China. We found a sanitary pad place that makes a factory all the way in China. We're able to design our own sanitary pad with the most affordable products, the most affordable design, with feedback from a lot of our females who work with us about what kind of pad that we want. We have a 450 mil and a 290 mil. My vision and goal is actually to come out with a pad that has double wings or 4 wings. A lot longer.
Yes.
A lot longer because some girls are a lot bigger.
Yes.
A lot longer, and you can actually double tie it to the top and the top.
Oh.
Right? They're quite
More
big.
secure.
They're quite big in Asia, actually.
Oh.
So some of the biggest selling pads in South Africa are overnight pads. So a lot of women use overnight pads
During the day.
During the day. If you're listening to this and you look at tampons, we're not saying pads are the answer. If you use menstrual cups, we're not saying wear the answer. Any menstrual product. We want to be able to push any menstrual product. But if you're sitting here and you're a white lady from Constantia and you want to tell me that the answer is menstrual cups, did you use a menstrual cup when you were 13 or 10? Come on now. That's such a privileged view. So I get a lot of that. You cannot force a woman what they want to use. But the middle class, a middle upper class, especially white, pushes the menstrual cup into the poor. But you have to realize, menstrual cup when you were a kid, never. I'm not saying you have to use my pad.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. As long as we're ending period poverty, I don't care what you use.
Talk to us about sustainability and quality. We know that that's part of the product promise. Eco-friendly materials, alignment with UN social development goals is also a big topic in the space. Why is this important for the foundation?
So for us, our pad is not 100% biodegradable because of the strap on the side and that little thing on the side.
Yeah.
That's the only part. The rest, biodegradable. But now, biodegradability of a product depends on where you've put it. Now, if you put our pad in the middle of the rubbish, it's not going to biodegrade. Anything, it doesn't work. But to make it 100% biodegradable, we'll make the pad 100 Rand a pack. Pads are involved in sport, education, food, everything. It's all involved. It's all tied into one. Because if you're listening to this and you're privileged, you've never had to go to school and learn while there's blood running down your leg. And you've never gone to school with a hungry stomach. Have you ever played sport while you have blood running down your leg? No, you haven't. So there's so many things that are tied down to this. For me, a sanitary pad should not be put above food. They should be put in the same line. Now, a political party will have a food pack, but not a packet of pads. And you know, when a woman has to pick between feeding her children or pads, she'll always want to feed her children. When a woman has to pick between a loaf of bread and a packet of sanitary pads, we have failed. We are not free until pads are free. Freedom is quality of life and dignity. So they're not free.
I want to talk about impact now. Give us a sense of, since you guys have been going, how many girls, young women, do you guys think you've managed to impact? If you had to think about this.
Now we're doing 1.6 million pads a month.
A month
Now. Tens and tens of millions. I cannot, nowhere close, but it helps me sleep at night.
Oh, I was going to ask you what keeps you up at night. What compels you to keep on staying and doing this work?
Denzel Washington sponsored Chadwick Boseman's education.
Wow.
Without knowing him. And one day on the red carpet, they met at the premiere of
Sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Because that's what it is about, right? Because what we're talking about here is opportunity cost. We don't know the potential that's lost when that young woman can't participate in that hockey match or that squash game because she didn't have
Can I tell you how I
a
watch
pad.
sport? Can I tell you how I watch sport? Or anything of excellence. I watch and I go, now if she had endometriosis, would she have been here? So think about how many girls have slipped through the cracks. Because it's Wisdom Promise trials. Oh, I don't have pads. I'm not going. It's swimming. I can't swim. It's blocked so many kids
And not just one block. It's the continuous, because it's consistently now. So then we just slip further and further.
Yes, you'll never get through.
Yeah.
But I will say, for me, what keeps me going, I was raised by a queen who I lost 3 years ago. And her mission was always to propel young women to go further in life. I will not stop till young boys or men are having interactions with women. In the back of their mind, they think, what did Uncle Siv think? What did Uncle Siv say? All right? It doesn't have to be me. I get messages from mothers going, my son loves rugby, but he loves dancing as well. And I took my phone and I showed him the work that you're doing. I just want to be the silent voice in some boy's ear and in some little girl's ear. And one day, I don't need anyone. First of all, I'll close up by saying, I don't need anyone to say thank you to my face at all. What I ask from you is that you take the ladder and you bring it down for other people to climb up. That's all I ask for. What I need you to do is to make sure that you help other people do the same. And I challenge you all to do the same.
One more question. Or what has this work taught you about South Africa and South Africans?
I think South African people are good people. You just have to tell them how they can do good without it getting in the way of a day-to-day life. But on the same hand, I do think South Africans are sick and tired of giving, because I do think they get asked so much every single day. So that's why narrative and story is important, to be able to tell the story. And for me, what I'm good at is telling the story. When they hear me, put me in a board meeting, no matter who it is, I will walk in and I'll walk out with money. One thing I have is I can draw the story. If you can draw a beautiful story for South Africans, they'll give money. But times are tough at the moment, but they'll give what they can. And for me, we have a beautiful, 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 beautiful country. And I think South Africans remind me of the 4-year-old who sent a painting home. And the parent was like, what a beautiful painting. He's 4. And then when he's 30, he's bringing home the same painting. Oh. We're 30 now. We can't be sending home the same nonsense we're sending home when we were 4. But lastly, friend, I know you want to wrap up. I want to say, as South Africans, we shoot beyond our capabilities. We do things that we have no right to do, which keeps people distracted, and it keeps us going, we've got this, man. We've won the World Cup. We've done all these things. But imagine if we were really, really, really had the government that was really interested in putting back into the country. But I do think because we persevere so well, we're able to do things that we have no right to do. Like all these inspiring stories. Like, oh my, she persevered after a rape and then she did this. No, she shouldn't have gotten raped. He persevered, he got an A during matric. He got 7 A's and he had no electricity. No, he should have had electricity. Oh, Siakulisi got a scholarship. He went to Grey. No, his school should have been good enough that he shouldn't have to go to Grey. That's how I feel. And for me, it's a piece of cloth. It's a piece of cloth that can cost 5 Rand that can change a woman's life. It should be available. It should be free. There should be no debates.
Thank you so much for showing us what's possible when we refuse to accept the status quo and take action for our communities. For listeners, this story is not just about providing sanitary products. It's actually about the choices we make when we see a failure in the system and the change that comes when we're actually courageous enough to act. Thank you for listening to The Odds in Our Favour. I'm Saskia Falcon, and this News 24 Good News podcast was proudly brought to you by Old Mutual, helping you grow, protect, and preserve what matters most with investment strategies designed to support your legacy. Old Mutual Wealth is an authorized financial services provider.